want to make him miss you so much that he realizes what he's losing. You don't need games or another man to make that happen. What you need is to level up yourself. Stay tuned. I'm about to show you exactly how. Today, we're diving into how to make him jealous. Not by involving someone else, but by becoming the best version of yourself. This isn't about manipulation. It's about commanding respect, igniting attraction, and living with purpose. Let's get started. To truly make him feel the impact of your absence, you must first commit to making your life exceptional without relying on anyone else's validation. This means focusing on your purpose and prioritizing what matters most to you. When you commit to a life full of direction, meaning, and growth, not only do you elevate yourself, but you create an atmosphere where those around you can sense your value. So what is your purpose? It's that driving force that pushes you out of bed each morning with a sense of determination. It could be your career, a passion project, or a personal goal you've been dreaming about. But whatever it is, dedicating yourself to it creates a powerful foundation for your life. By building a life centered around growth and self-improvement, you naturally become more captivating. People who have a clear sense of direction are magnetic because their energy is focused and strong. Imagine waking up every day with a plan, whether it's advancing in your career, launching a business, learning something new, or traveling the world. If you've got something that excites you, something that makes you feel alive, you become a force to be reckoned with. And that's exactly what he will start to notice. He'll see the change in your attitude, your confidence, and your mindset. When you have a purpose, your time becomes more valuable. And you no longer rely on the approval of others especially. You begin to see yourself as the main character in your own life, rather than waiting for external validation to feel worthy. This shift is vital. When you're driven by your passions, your life doesn't revolve around someone else's opinion. And that's a level of independence and confidence that naturally draws others in, including him. This doesn't mean you should disregard relationships or stop caring about the people you love. It means that by focusing on your purpose, you learn how to balance your needs and desires while also fostering meaningful connections. You become someone who has something to offer, not just to him, but to the world. And that's undeniably attractive. In relationships, especially with men, one of the most powerful things you can do is maintain your autonomy. This doesn't come from playing games or pretending not to care. It comes from the genuine sense of fulfillment that arises when you know you are already enough on your own. This is where true self-respect comes from. When you operate from a place of self-worth and purpose, you're not trying to impress anyone. Instead, you're focused on fulfilling your potential, and people, especially men, take notice of that level of depth and intention. Additionally, being purpose-driven naturally leads to the development of resilience. There will be setbacks in life, and people might not always appreciate your drive. But when you have a clear purpose, you bounce back faster. You know why you're doing what you're doing, and that gives you the strength to keep moving forward. This kind of strength is something no one can ignore. Think about the people you admire, whether they're highly successful professionals, artists, or even what do they all have in common? They're dedicated to something greater than themselves. They have a focus that extends beyond the surface of their everyday lives. That's why they're able to attract and keep the attention of those around them. They radiate purpose, and it's contagious. Now, when he sees you living with this intense focus on your goals, he won't be able to help but feel a shift. He'll notice that you're not waiting for him to fill a void in your life. Instead, you're actively creating a life you love, and that's incredibly powerful. The truth is, people, especially men, are attracted to individuals who are on a journey, not just those waiting for things to happen to them. And the best part, this isn't about creating a sense of jealousy or competition. It's about cultivating self-respect and creating a life that you find meaningful. When you become deeply committed to your own growth and your personal goals, the right people will be drawn to you, and if someone cares enough, they'll want to be a part of your world. rather than someone who expects to be the center of your attention. By focusing on your purpose, you stop looking to others for validation. You stop worrying about what he thinks or how he'll react. Instead, you invest in the most important person in your life, you. That in itself is the ultimate power move. Now, let me be clear. Transforming your appearance isn't about changing who you are or trying to fit into someone else's idea of beauty. It's about owning your personal style and showing the world your confidence through the way you present yourself. When you elevate your appearance, you are making a statement, not just for others, but for yourself. First and foremost, understand that when you take care of your appearance, it signals that you respect and value yourself. This isn't about fitting into a particular mold or following the latest trends. It's about choosing to present yourself in a way that reflects your best self, both inside and out. This kind of self-care has a direct impact on how people perceive you, but more importantly, it impacts how you perceive yourself. Think about the times when you felt the most confident. Perhaps it was when you wore that outfit that made you feel unstoppable, or when you treated yourself to a new haircut that perfectly matched your personality. These moments are powerful because they align your internal energy with your external appearance. Confidence radiates from someone who feels comfortable and proud of how they look. And when you feel confident, it shows, whether it's in the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, or the way you interact with others. When it comes to making him jealous, elevating your appearance is a subtle yet undeniable way to show him what he could lose. As you begin to prioritize yourself and your personal grooming, he'll notice the changes. But here's the twist. You're not doing it for him. You're doing it for yourself. You're showing the world, especially him, that you are a woman who is in control, who takes pride in herself, and who understands her own worth. Let's talk about practical steps here. Start with a wardrobe that aligns with your personality, your body type, and your goals. When you choose clothes that make you feel comfortable and empowered, it's not about impressing anyone else. It's about giving yourself the confidence to conquer whatever comes your way. Whether it's a sleek, professional look, a laid-back chick vibe, or something that makes you feel bold and adventurous, the key is that it's authentically you. Investing in your health is another key aspect of elevating your appearance. Being active, eating well, and caring for your physical body not only enhances your confidence, but also boosts your energy levels and overall well-being. When you feel physically strong and healthy, it shows in the way you walk, talk, and interact with others. Your energy will naturally shift from being passive or uncertain to being dynamic and magnetic. Skin care and hair care are also crucial elements. When you take the time to nurture your skin and hair, you are practicing self-love. A glowing complexion, healthy hair, and a well-maintained appearance are all signs that you are putting in the effort to feel good in your own skin. And as you might imagine, this doesn't go unnoticed. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with pride and care, and a radiant, healthy appearance is a direct reflection of that inner strength. Here's the powerful reality. Because when you start to elevate your appearance, you become the version of yourself that you've always admired. This is what attracts others, including him. It's a signal that you've moved beyond waiting for validation and have stepped into your own power. When he sees you investing in yourself, whether through fitness, fashion, or self-care, he'll start to recognize that you're a woman who is far more than what he might have initially seen. You're someone who has the potential to attract attention, admiration, and respect, not just from him, but from the world. But remember, the key to making him jealous is not to seek his approval. Instead, it's about focusing on yourself. The goal here isn't to make him feel insecure. It's to showcase how your life doesn't revolve around him. By elevating your appearance and embracing a lifestyle of self-respect and confidence, you create an aura of mystery and intrigue. You show that you are a person who has value independent of anyone else. And that's what he'll begin to realize he could lose. In the end, your appearance should be a reflection of the love and respect you have for yourself. When you carry yourself with confidence, grace, and style, you're sending a powerful message not just to him, but to everyone around you. And the more you invest in your own personal growth, inside and out, the more you will shine, making it clear that you are someone who doesn't need anyone to validate her worth. You are already whole. So start today. Elevate your appearance, not because you want to get back at him, but because you deserve to feel unstoppable. When you do, the world will take notice. One of the most powerful ways to make him feel the sting of jealousy without involving another man is by cultivating new connections. This isn't about playing games or attempting to make him feel threatened. It's about demonstrating that you are a person with a rich and fulfilling life, one that extends beyond any relationship. When you actively seek out new relationships and broaden your social circle, you show him that your value and happiness don't depend on him alone. First, let's talk about diversifying your social network. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire and challenge you. This could include joining new clubs, attending networking events, or even engaging with communities that share your passions. When you create a life filled with meaningful connections, it's not just about quantity, it's about quality. You want to engage with people who add value to your life, who elevate you, and who push you to grow. When you start building new relationships, it serves as a clear message to him. You are no longer waiting for someone else to complete you. You're surrounded by dynamic, interesting people who support your growth and empower you to thrive. This subtle shift in your energy creates a natural form of attraction. The more you engage with people who bring positivity, encouragement, and fresh perspectives into your life, the more you become a magnet for those who respect and appreciate your uniqueness. This also impacts how you view yourself. The more connections you cultivate, the more you realize how valuable you are, not just to him, but to the world. You begin to see that your worth is not tied to any single person. And that feeling is incredibly empowering. You become a woman who is unapologetically living her own life, building her own path and welcoming new relationships that add depth to her experience. When he sees you flourishing in a variety of social settings, he'll realize that your life doesn't revolve around him. It makes you more intriguing, more independent, and ultimately more attractive. Also, don't underestimate the power of diverse relationships. These new connections don't have to be romantic. They could be friendships, mentorships, or even professional acquaintances. The key is that these relationships provide you with different sources of support, insight, and inspiration. It's not about competing for attention. It's about showing that your world is expansive and rich with possibilities. By expanding your social circle, you break the illusion that you're solely focused on him. In reality, you're creating a network that's supportive and empowering, both personally and professionally. What happens when you make new connections is that your value becomes apparent to others. And he sees that you're not stuck in the same old routine, that you're not limited by narrow scope of social interactions. You're out there meeting new people, learning new things, and challenging yourself in ways that keep you growing and evolving. This speaks volumes. It sends the message that you're a woman with options, and you're not afraid to put yourself out there and connect with those who truly enrich your life. Furthermore, these new connections can serve as a powerful reminder of your value. As you interact with diverse people, you'll gain new perspectives on what makes you special and unique. Their appreciation for you will further reinforce your own self-worth. And when you walk with that kind of confidence, it's impossible not to be noticed. So as you build new relationships and broaden your network, remember that this isn't about making him. It's about creating a life that is full, abundant, and self-sustaining. You are sending a clear message. You are a person of value, and no one, not even him, can define your worth. By nurturing new connections, you show him and everyone else that your happiness, fulfillment, and self-worth come from a multitude of sources, not just one. This opens the door for him to see the depth of your life and what he could lose if he takes you for granted. One of the most powerful yet subtle ways to make him jealous without involving another man is mastering the art of detachment. This may sound counterintuitive, but hear me out. Detachment is not about emotional coldness or indifference. It's about creating a healthy distance between your emotions and the relationship dynamics. When you master detachment, you stop chasing, stop over-investing, and stop allowing your sense of worth to be dictated by another person's actions, opinions, or behavior. At its core, detachment is rooted in the idea that you are emotionally whole and complete on your own. It's the understanding that while a relationship can bring joy, support, and love, it should never be the sole source of your happiness or validation. This is where true power lies. When you stop acting out of need or desperation, you begin to act from a place of self-assurance and independence. You are no longer dependent on his attention, affection, or approval to feel good about yourself. You recognize that your happiness, confidence, and sense of self-worth come from within, not from someone else. When you master detachment, you're no longer emotionally attached to the outcomes of your interactions. You stop clinging to him for validation or approval. This creates a profound shift in your energy. Instead of constantly giving, trying, or pursuing, you allow the relationship to unfold naturally. You live with the understanding that if someone truly values you, they will meet you halfway. But if they don't, that's their loss, not yours. You start to realize that no one can take your peace, your joy, or your sense of self unless his shift in mindset is transformative. As you stop seeking approval, his behavior starts to matter less to you. You stop reacting to his moods or changes in attention. Instead, you create a space where you are fully focused on your own growth and well-being. This is incredibly powerful, and people, especially men, are drawn to those who are not emotionally dependent on them. When he sees you becoming emotionally independent, it challenges him. He begins to realize that you are not just another source of attention or validation for him. You are a woman who stands strong on her own, with or without him. The key to detachment lies in releasing the need to control or manipulate the situation. Often, in relationships, people tend to over-invest emotionally, hoping that by doing so, they can secure the attention or affection of the other person. However, this type of attachment creates a power imbalance. When you master detachment, you no longer try to control outcomes. Instead, you allow things to unfold naturally, trusting that you are valuable no matter what the outcome may be. This naturally shifts the dynamics of the relationship, making you less predictable and more intriguing. Detachment also gives you the power to prioritize your own needs. You no longer put his needs, desires, or whims above your own. You start living for yourself, pursuing your passions, setting your goals, and achieving personal milestones. By focusing on your own life and growth, you show that your identity is not defined by him or anyone else. This doesn't mean that you're neglecting the relationship, but rather you're investing in yourself. And when you invest in yourself, you radiate a type of confidence that is impossible to ignore. This shift in energy is magnetic. The more you detach emotionally, the more attractive you become. When you're not constantly looking to him for approval or affection, he starts to notice the space you've created in your life. He sees that you have your own passions, your own dreams, and your own circle of people who value you. This makes you appear more independent, more confident, and ultimately more alluring. It challenges him to reconsider how he values you, because without your emotional dependency, he may begin to question how much he truly appreciates you. Detachment isn't about playing games. It's not about pretending that you don't care or acting aloof. It's about inner peace and the understanding that you are whole and complete as you are. You have mastered the art of being emotionally independent, and this makes you far more attractive than anyone who is constantly seeking validation or approval. You stop clinging to the relationship and allow it to grow naturally if it's meant to. When he sees this shift in you, he begins to realize that you're a woman who doesn't need him to feel complete. And that realization will make him rethink everything he took for granted. In the end, mastering the power of detachment allows you to maintain control over your own emotions, desires, and needs, which ultimately makes you more emotionally and mentally attractive. You show him and everyone else that your value and sense of self come from within, and nothing, not even his attention, can ever take that away from you. One of the most powerful and effective ways to make him feel the sting of jealousy without involving another man is by showcasing your happiness. This isn't about putting on a show or pretending to be something you're not. It's about genuinely embracing and displaying the joy, fulfillment, and sense of peace that comes from living a life where you are the main character, the one in control of your own happiness. Happiness is magnetic. When you radiate true joy, people are drawn to you. They want to know what makes you tick, what makes you smile, and how they can be a part of that. You have to understand that happiness is not something that comes from outside sources, especially not from any one person, whether it's a romantic partner or anyone else. True happiness comes from within. And when you cultivate and showcase that inner joy, you show the world, and more importantly him, that you are whole and fulfilled on your own. First, let's talk about living with purpose. When you embrace your own happiness, it starts with living a life that is aligned with your values, passions, and goals. A person who knows what they want and actively works towards it is already a magnet for admiration. This could be anything from pursuing a career that excites you, developing hobbies that bring you joy, or volunteering for causes that make you feel connected to the world around you. It's about finding fulfillment in your daily life, whether big or small, and showing that fulfillment through your actions. When you showcase your happiness, you reveal your ability to create and experience joy on your own terms. You demonstrate that you don't need someone else to make you feel validated or fulfilled. He sees that your happiness is not dependent on him, but on your own life choices, passions, and ambitions. And that's where the power lies. The more you live authentically and with joy, the more your own happiness becomes a reflection of your inner strength and independence. Another powerful way to showcase your happiness is by spending time with people who uplift you. Surround yourself with friends, family, and loved ones who share your joy and support your growth. When you engage with positive people who genuinely care about you, your happiness shines even brighter. This social aspect reinforces the idea that you are valued and appreciated, not just by him, but by a wide circle of people who love and respect you. Your joy becomes contagious and people naturally gravitate towards you. By spending time with people who enrich your life, you send a powerful signal. You show him that you are not solely focused on him for happiness, but that your world is full of meaningful relationships and experiences. You are demonstrating your capacity to build deep, supportive connections that contribute to your overall well-being. This type of emotional and social richness makes you more attractive and captivating. Moreover, when you showcase your happiness, you create a certain mystique. When you're genuinely enjoying your life, whether that's through spontaneous adventures, fulfilling work, or engaging in fun activities, he begins to notice that you're not waiting around for him to fill any gaps. You're out there living, thriving, and making the most of every moment. This can provoke a feeling of jealousy because he realizes that if he's not a part of your happiness, he could easily be replaced by someone else who might appreciate you more. However, the key here is not to show off or act out of spite. It's about genuinely enjoying your life and allowing that to naturally shine through. It's about being confident in the fact that your happiness is not dependent on anyone else's approval or validation. When you begin to enjoy your life and show that joy, he can't help but notice. He'll see you living with a sense of purpose, confidence, and self-assuredness. And that's when he'll realize that whether he's in your life or not, your happiness comes first. The power of showcasing your happiness is also about setting boundaries. When you demonstrate that you are not willing to compromise your peace and happiness for anyone, you send a message of strength. You teach others, including him, how to treat you. If he sees that you're happy and thriving, it becomes a subtle reminder that you will not tolerate negativity or emotional dependence. This empowers you to set boundaries that protect your mental and emotional health. By maintaining these boundaries, you ensure that your happiness is never threatened or diminished by anyone's behavior. Finally, showcasing your happiness sends a clear message. You're not sitting around waiting for anyone to give you permission to live your best life. You're creating your own joy, and that's incredibly attractive. It forces him to reflect on the fact that he could lose someone who has their life together, who is emotionally independent, and who can find happiness no matter the circumstances. And this realization often triggers jealousy. Because when a person sees someone else living in such an empowered and joyful state, they begin to question whether they're truly appreciated or even necessary in that person's life. In conclusion, showcasing your happiness is one of the most powerful ways to make him take notice and perhaps even feel a pain, not because you are trying to provoke him, but because you are living your best life, and in doing so, revealing the profound truth that your happiness is not his responsibility. When you radiate joy and fulfillment, you show him that your life is abundant, and no one, least of all him, has the power to take that away. Your happiness becomes a reflection of your strength, independence, and self-worth, and that is undeniably magnetic. Remember, making him jealous isn't about revenge. It's about growth. You're showing him what he's missing by stepping into your power. So stop waiting for validation and start building the life you deserve. That's when the real magic happens. If this inspired you, comment and subscribe for more empowering content. See you next time. Now tell me, what's the first step you're going to take to level up? Drop it in the comments below.